This triangle is the key to getting success on any social media platform, and if you manage to keep all sides balanced, you're probably even gonna see your Instagram game become great again. It doesn't necessarily have to be Instagram though, as your first platform. Lots of people don't want to create reels, for example, and maybe you're at a crossroad right now at the moment wondering whether the effort you put into Instagram is actually still worth it, and maybe there's another platform you'd be better off creating content for. Now, if you ask me, Instagram is still a pretty decent platform overall. With that being said, there are some issues that other platforms maybe don't have. And maybe in your case, it's even best to adapt a multi-platform strategy. Something people have been saying not to do for a long time, and that you should focus on one thing, one platform first. Me including, by the way. I've said this for a long time. I guess times have evolved though. The borders of content creation have gotten pretty blurry and things have become pretty similar across all platforms. So why not use the advantages of each platform to get the most out of your content creation journey? And to help you understand everything just a tiny bit better, I'll illustrate the points with an example creator, Bert 3000, a struggling musician who can't get his latest hit single heard because he doesn't get any reach on his Instagram account, especially because he said in his stories 2 months ago, and his reach doesn't want to go back ever since. The problem is though, he needs to get to 10,000 followers in the next 90 days because he also likes to open his mouth a little bit too wide at meetings, and part of his contract with the record company was that he'd manage to get to 10,000 social media followers in 90 days or else pay the production costs of $251,000 back. So what can he do to maximize his chances and to actually grow his influence across the board? Let's take a look. So, most of the Instagram creators out there, Bert as well, by the way, are using more or less this strategy, a form of what I call the social media triangle. Some are a little smarter and at least have some external element, for example, an email list attached to it, but mostly creators build all of these three blocks/sites on Instagram, directly on platform. The attention, the content conversion/parasocial relationship, and the monetization aspect. Now, that's nothing bad per se, but if we break things down just with Instagram in mind, we can see it's kind of falling behind in multiple areas while also being quite okay in some others, to be honest. Let's start with the attention. Meaning new reach, new eyeballs, new people, finding your content. And right now, obviously, on Instagram, Reels, of course, being the biggest driving factor of those new eyeballs. Photos, normal posts, and all the other things. Better than 3 months ago, to be honest, but still far from perfect. Then there's the whole content conversion part. And in my opinion, Instagram's tools are very good to keep people engaged and build that parasocial relationship, especially in the context of short form mobile first content. So actually pretty good on that part. However, we also do have reach problems in this area, talking about reaching existing followers, which, by the way, these problems are quite manageable if you watch the videos here, and also my free training that's down there in the description. I'll show you some basic, basically foolproof strategies to get a certain baseline growth and engagement level to train the algorithm and to make sure your reach actually doesn't tank. First link in the description. And finally, we have the monetization aspect, and to be honest, it's pretty okay on Instagram as well. Let's say you're in for sponsorships. Lots of smaller creators are actually pretty surprised sometimes of the amount money they can get by having sponsored posts. And also if you have your own products yourself, in my opinion, Instagram's tools and Instagram itself is pretty great for that as well. Stories, for example, are pretty powerful for that. On my personal profile, get a lot of sales, for my program, the Black File, for example, through my stories as well, even though, stories are basically the only thing I do on Instagram, but we're going to get to that also in a second. Now, most people have focused all of their efforts on this approach, getting all these three aspects under one roof within Instagram in the past few years. Bert even more so. Only last year, he decided to switch from MySpace to Instagram because of this big server crash, which I, by the way, condone quite a lot. A lot of videos and pictures of mine are just gone, and I'm just very sad about this because I might have logged in weekly to MySpace before that. True story. And for Bert, things seemed to work out at least pretty okay-ish when he started being on Instagram until the big reach drop. And now he spends most of his effort just trying to get his Instagram reach back up again. So what if I told you that sometimes in order to get your Instagram reach back up again, you need to switch strategies. One that involves multiple platforms. And if you're a little smart about it, you can even tweak this whole thing that I'm about to show you based on your own needs. People always ask me, Dominic, should I switch to TikTok and leave Instagram? I'm not getting the reach anymore, or YouTube, or Vero. Yeah, not kidding. We're gonna get to that in a second. And lots of people are doing that right now, actually, looking at my comments, because they're just pissed. I understand it, I get it, but I can almost guarantee you that most of them will actually return to Instagram in some form because of, this triangle we just talked about. Because here's the thing, my friends. I did leave something important out at the beginning. This triangle is not really a triangle. It's actually three-dimensional. Making it a pyramid, I guess. And here's where it gets interesting. Because there's multiple ways to fill certain areas, it means you can and most likely should use multiple platforms to fulfill them. Which means for the attention aspect, for example, Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts are pretty much the same. Of course, there's differences, and we're gonna make a separate video about that. But if you're already creating short-form video content, you might as well post it on all platforms because there's minimal extra steps for maximum exposure. And that's what everybody should do, if you ask me, at least the ones who are already creating Reels anyway, or TikToks. So Bert, in our example, first of all starts breaking his Reels strategy down and divides it into small clips for his songs, for example, as well as commentary of other people's, guitar playing, song breakdowns of other songs, as well as his. And because he's posting them to all three short-form video platforms, maybe there will be one format that does better on TikTok and another one that does better on YouTube Shorts. I see it all the time from Instagram Black File students, by the way. Sometimes people blow up on TikTok because, we don't really know why. And actually just yesterday, I got this screenshot from one of my students, blowing up on YouTube Shorts. Quite a bit, actually. Now, if you're not into short-form video content and love regular posts or carousels, you also might consider posting your content to other platforms like Pinterest, for example, something I only shared with my Black File students before, or Twitter even, especially if you create threads from your carousel posts, for example, crazy potential with minimal effort again, right? Just don't care about the follower numbers. Doesn't matter in this case. By the way, just between you and me, and it's kind of weird to even say that, another crazy potential that I start to see recently again are Facebook pages. I'm not kidding you, but you should really consider rebooting your old Facebook page again and post your content there as well. Or Vero. I'm also not kidding you. It seems like more and more people start to hop on again, and at a first look, it seems like they're on a pretty good direction. Now, the really important thing that most people get wrong is it's not a question of Instagram versus another platform. Should I quit Instagram to go to TikTok, for example? Right now, at this stage of social media, I believe the way to go is actually Instagram and another platform. Maybe you just start to switch your focus a little bit. 70% Instagram as opposed to 100%, 30% YouTube Shorts, for example. Or maybe you even put your main focus into another platform. But here's the thing, at the end of the day, the really interested people are still gonna come back to your Instagram because it actually is slowly becoming the content creator main street where everybody just has their house on, if you ask me. Now, here's the other very important thing. Don't just repost it. You can't do that. You need to spend just a tiny bit of extra effort to make your content platform native. Usually it's just a few clicks and tweaks, removing watermarks, different fonts, etc. But it's actually a very small thing that makes a lot of the difference. So as an action step for you, sit down, if you don't sit already, map out your triangle and see which platform could cover which areas on it, and then try to create a strategy around it. Like I said, usually it's minimal extra effort required to get going, with a lot of potential. By the way, soon I'll launch a long-term, full-fledged creator mentorship program where I'll personally work with some of the people here to build their audiences on Instagram and actually all the other platforms. Something that goes really, really deep based on your personal situation. And you can actually get on the waiting list down in my description. It's actually the first time I ever speak about it. Now back to Bert. He's done his research in the meantime. And in addition to the 3 video channels to get more eyeballs, he also started a podcast, something I didn't talk about before, just to get your brain cells going, where he talks about his stories, a little bit more behind the scenes. He's also actively teasing content only available on his Instagram stories. And as a result of that, the most interested people actually come over to follow him on Instagram and to also stream his latest single. And because of this whole strategy that he built around his Instagram, things are finally starting to pick up. And as the deadline approaches, 90 days later, to his surprise, Bert got a whopping 9,873 followers.
Oh, that's not enough.
If he only wasn't such a big mouth. The next month, the record company litigated the contract, sold the rights to a band called The Offspring, who then had a #1 hit with Bert's song. True story. The good thing is though, with his almost 10,000 followers, Bert can now make more than a pretty decent income if he's using the right strategies. For example, the one that I talk about right here. Don't miss out.